Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am the Executive Director for New Shelves Books, and I am here for Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday we get together at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about books, marketing, and everything having to do with the publishing process. We take questions live at newshelves.com/FAF, and we also take questions in advance to questions@freeadvicefridays.com. You can always catch our replays over on YouTube, which is just youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. We kind of branded there. And so we're going to go ahead and start taking our questions live today. Let's see. The first question we have in is about the Library of Congress and CIP blocks. When you apply for a CIP block from the Library of Congress, you have to specify the printing date and release date, the month, year. If that shifts after you've received it, do you need to update it? Is that in the information pushed out to libraries? Yes. So a CIP block, first of all, is a catalog and publishing block. So it's a block of information used by libraries to catalog books so that they can easily get them into their system. A lot of our indie or small press authors don't qualify for a CIP block because you have to have at least 10 titles by 3 different authors to get a CIP block. In that case, you can apply for a PCIP block, which is a publisher catalog and publication block, which is essentially the same thing, but you have to pay for it. It doesn't go through the Library of Congress. You go through a cataloging librarian. So now that we've got the basics out of the way, to your question, Tara, about, excuse me, about the dates. You should send in updated dates because that is part of what gets published out. It is not something that's going to change your book in a life or death manner, obviously, but it is something that you should update. It does get sent out. And so when librarians are trying to match a title up to a cataloging block, that is one of the things they check. And if the dates are different, especially if they're different by a lot, they may think that one is a different edition. So you should send in an update, but again, it's not anything that in my knowledge is dire, but it is something that you should do. All right. If I have published an ebook, can I still put it up on Kindle Select for 90 days? How do I do it? How do I take it off afterwards? Vicky, Kindle Select is exclusive to Amazon. So if you're putting a book up on Kindle Select for Kindle Unlimited, then you have to make sure that you first take your book off of all other platforms. So if you have put your book up on, let's say, Draft to Digital, and that's what you're doing, then you would have to take your book off of Draft to Digital first and wait for that distribution to come off of like Barnes and Noble and Kobo and all of those places. Once it comes down, you can enroll in Kindle Select because again, Kindle Select is exclusive for the ebook to Amazon. I know you have a series, Vicky, so you can either put it in the chat or to the side. Are you thinking about doing this for your prequel that just came out? Or are you thinking of doing this for your entire series, maybe? Let me know. Maybe I can give better advice there. Let's see. Can you go over again how to put a quote or blurb between the title and the description on its Amazon page? So Mary, if you could clarify for me, either in the chat or in the questions pane, are you talking about editorial review section, or are you talking about the there's editorial reviews and then there is A+ content, and they're a little bit different. I'm going to pull up a Amazon page so we can see both of them, if that helps. Let's see, just 1 second here. All right. Not the editorial review. So you mean how we do, just gonna double check. This is an Amazon page over here. I'll get rid of like all my boxes. All right, so down here, there's from the publisher, and this is our A+ content. And A+ content is newer. This is available to anyone who uploads through KDP. And then there's editorial reviews. If you're looking for editorial reviews, that's in Author Central on your book page. If you're looking for where to go for your A+ content, which is from the publisher, you go to your book and you go to the Promote and Advertise button. The Promote and Advertise button, when you click on that, you scroll down to the bottom of that page, you get the option of uploading your A+ content. I do have a full YouTube video of how you do that. It does take a bit of time, so I can't go over it all today, but I will drop in, number one, if you're not fans of us on YouTube and you don't follow us on YouTube, I would love for you guys to do that. It's just youtube.com/New Shelves Books, and let me find the A+ content video, and I will share it with you so you can watch it. It is a step-by-step. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that was really loud on my screen. And so that is right here. It does go step by step through how to get your A+ content up. And it actually goes through an Amazon account. So you can see each screen. And then if you go to the New Shelves website, we have free template downloads for, see if I can find it. We have free template downloads for A+ content so that you can create your own. I'll drop that in here as well. All right. So hopefully that helps there, Mary. Again, it's a YouTube video that walks through step by step. Anyone and everyone who is on KDP, I think that you should consider doing this. It really looks nice. It brands a page. It makes it really pop and stand out. It's a way to get more information on your book. It can be simple images. It can be a way to brand your series. And what's really nice is if you have a series, you can create one set of A+ content that you use for your entire series. You just put in separate ASINs for it, and you don't have to do it separately for each one. You can get it up for both. So like this one, let me show you. This one right here for Barbara Hinsky, she's got a series, Guiding Emily series. And what she did is she put both of her books together, and then she talks about them together, where she talks about, you know, it's her bio, but then it's also got the series stacked up. And she also did a little promo for her other series. So she kind of worked it all in here, and she was able to use that for both books in the series. And I know that there will be more. And then she did the same thing for her Rosemont series, which has, gosh, I think it's seven books now. So rather than creating different content for each and every book, which would take a bit of time, she quickly got everything up by doing it by the series, which is a smart move. And again, it looks really nice. It looks more finished, I think. Let me see. Glad we could help there. All right, Vicky, so you're talking about your prequel that just went up. So your prequel was uploaded to Kindle, but it hasn't yet been uploaded to Draft to Digital. So yes, you can absolutely put that into Kindle Unlimited. All you have to do is when you're in the details of your Amazon page, when you are editing the content and the details of your Kindle on the back end through KDP, there's an option at the top of one of the pages that says enroll in Kindle Select, and you just click that and you go through and save and publish. Since we're working together, Vicky, I will happily do that, and I'll record it for you so you can see for next time. So that was actually simpler because your book had only been up on Amazon so far. You can do it. If it had already been up on Draft to Digital, it would be a lot more work because you would have to take it off everywhere and then you'd have to enroll. This is actually easier. Let's see. Emma says the folks at Brian Cohen's ad school don't recommend A+ content as it pushes the blurb down the page on mobile devices. I have never noticed that, but I'm going to check right now. Why not? Let's see. Let's go to Amazon. I hope you all at home are doing the same thing with me, because I think that's the kind of people we are. All right, so let me see. Because the blurb should show up at the top, always, always. So let's see. Oh, that's true. It's true, but I would still do it. But I guess that's a personal decision if you want it down there or not. I wonder if it does that on a Kindle device. I'll have to check on that if you're like on the Kindle app, if it does that as well. I guess that's a personal choice, and you can always do it for the paperback and not the Kindle. I guess people on Kindle might be looking more. However, I would say, again, people are pretty used to it because it's being used all the time on the big, the popular big 5 books. So I guess that's a personal decision. It's something that it certainly makes sense that Brian's team is saying that if that's their experience. Maybe you kind of fiddle with it and see if it works or not. Try it out. But you learn something new every day, so it does push it down. All right. Let's see. All right, from Randy, I attended a great Kickstarter class and countless others here at 20 Books Vegas. I suggested adding a premium tier reward for those willing to leave a review on Amazon, figuring that since the backer was paying me and not vice versa, it would be okay. They thought that was a no-no. What say you? Randy, I think you're flirting with danger, and I'm not surprised. You cannot in any way require someone or put it in writing that they must or will leave an Amazon review. You can request it, but you cannot put anywhere that they must or they will. So you really got to be careful on that one there. So I would say that's a no-no. I think that, however, you do have people's email addresses with Kickstarter, so you can certainly follow up with them in one of your updates and say, hey, now that everyone's gotten their product, I would love a review. You can do that, I think, but to put it in there as like one of the actual tiers or rewards that happens, that is an exchange, which is not allowed. It's not allowed on that public of a platform. Not allowed, period. But when you do it on a public platform like Kickstarter is when you really get in trouble. So, all right, Nancy, our book will have a January 2nd, 2022 pub date. We received an inquiry from a publisher in Madrid, Spain regarding foreign rights. We would love for the book to be translated into Spanish. What can you tell us about foreign rights? I can tell you the bare basics of foreign rights. We do have on our blog, we have a guest post from someone who deals in foreign rights. So I will pop that up here. And I will say that congratulations, that's huge. I think that you want to do some research on the company, possibly reach out to someone who does subsidiary in foreign rights to make sure that you're getting a good contract. There are a lot of people you can go through for that. The person who we had guest blog for us is Anna Termini, and she is wonderful. And I'm going to drop that blog right in here. Well, if I would copy it, actually, I will drop it right over here. There we go. So I do think that foreign rights can be a great thing. I'm not surprised that a book like Lori's would be up for grabs in different languages, because her book is nonfiction. It is very trending right now. So I think that's great. I think I'd do your research. Definitely make sure that if you're doing contracts and things, that you have someone who is knowledgeable with that to go through. And would I advise sending them an actual printed book rather than having a PDF floating around in Europe? I wouldn't send them anything until you've researched the company. If it's a company with a good name and they have a good reputation, I wouldn't really worry about it. I get asked this question a lot, actually. I have sometimes authors who are very leery of sending me their manuscripts, and it always makes me laugh because I say, well, you're clearing agents, you've literally sent your book out to like hundreds of people. I think that if you're dealing with reputable people and you've done your research, you don't really have anything to worry about as far as sending your manuscript, because again, if they're reputable people, their reputation stands on their honesty. And so they are not going to mess that up for a manuscript or to be sneaky about one little thing. So do your research first for sure. If you're more comfortable, you can always send an actual physical copy of the book. I wouldn't send them like your InDesign files. I wouldn't send them editable documents. You can even watermark your documents, but ultimately, if people want to get the information from your book, they can get it and they can find it. They can buy the ebook and then they can break into the ebook and get it that way. So one way or another, people who are really determined to get your manuscript once it's published can get it, paying or not. All right, let's see. Yeah, watermark the PDF before sending it, which is really easy to do. Right in, I use Adobe, or whoever your designer is can probably do it for you as well. And Kevin's making a note that it's also important to make sure that the foreign company's written English is very clear. This has implications for your contract and future correspondence with them. I do agree. It's important to make sure that the language barrier, I know in this case, Lori is fluent in several different languages, so that's not as much of a concern for you all, but I think it's still important. But congratulations, because that's awesome. Let's see. Kickstarter, what if I made the reward for those willing to leave an online review? Randy, I appreciate your tenacity so much, but no. The problem is that it will be seen as paying for reviews, which is frowned upon overall. It doesn't matter if it's Amazon specific or, specific to that place. It's really frowned upon. So let's not go there. You don't need to go there. Don't do that. Do a hidden gems, ask people for reviews, follow up with people and ask them for reviews, but don't put it in there. You don't want to go there. They are paying you. They are. And you're still not going to put it in there that they have to leave an online review. Look, I'm specifically, Kevin and Randy, watch your emails. I'm going to find some Disney princess and Disney prince and Disney castle quizzes to send your way. Let's see. And Caroline saying, talk a bit more about Kickstarter for relaunching a backlist. Caroline, I'm not sure if that is a question. Like, can I talk more about Kickstarter for relaunching a backlist? Because honestly, I've never seen that done. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying I've never seen that done. So I probably wouldn't be the best person to speak to that. Without some research anyway, which I'm happy to research it, but I've never really seen people relaunching or pulling up their backlist unless you're using your backlist as giveaways for prizes. So instead of giving away the new book, you could do an instant download of a backlist title or something like that. So you could leverage it as prizes or awards, whatever it's called, rewards, awards. Just go to the McDonald's, turn right. I'm not so sure about that, but if I'm on the right track, let me know. Yeah, you could for sure. Okay, yeah. I think that you could use, if you were trying to kind of do a Kickstarter, you can use older titles. You can use your backlist as rewards. You could do a bundle. I mean, maybe instead of sending out print books, you're giving a bundle of ebooks or different things like that. I think it just depends. And I will say that when you're doing a Kickstarter, though, it's important that you're doing something that people feel like they can get behind and they really want. I have seen some amazing Kickstarters. I have clients who created Spanish first board books for kids. So they're Spanish first. It's also got English, but it's Spanish first instead of English first, which you don't see very often. And it's lullabies and things, and it's musical or it makes sounds. And it sings the song in Spanish, which was important to these the women who started the company, because they grew up bilingual, and as they're trying to teach their children that in the US, everything was very English focused with a little bit of Spanish thrown in. So they kind of did it the other way, and they did a Kickstarter. And I have seen friends, I've seen personal friends and people like that asking for Spanish English books for children. I have seen this as a need, and people looking and not finding what they're looking for. So I knew they were onto something, but it was amazing to me that when they shared their Kickstarter, they had surpassed their goal within like a day. Right now they're at like 250% of what they were building towards, and they had a pretty high goal. And so it has been amazing to see, because people felt the need and they had something to stand behind. So it not only it filled a need, but it also had something that people wanted to support in the in different communities that are Latino or non-English speaking. It was something that they felt very strongly about. So they really hit a home run, because they fit a need, and they also had a passion behind it, that had community behind it. If I'm just starting a Kickstarter because I want to publish my book and I'm not giving people a story to follow behind, it's much harder to get your Kickstarter to actually be filled, or whatever it's called. And so I think sometimes you do have to think about whether or not a Kickstarter makes sense, because you have to have people who want to back you, either because of the reward you're giving and or because there's a passion behind it. And if they're signing up for the rewards, you have to make sure that the rewards are not costing you so much that you should have never done the Kickstarter. Like, are you putting more money into the Kickstarter than you are making from it? And or if you're using the Kickstarter more as a publicity piece to get more people into it, are you breaking even? Again, it's always like, what are your goals? What are your goals? And is what you're doing getting you to your goals well? And I think that's the key to all marketing, is that there's not bad and good overall. There is, what are your goals, and is what you're doing getting you there? And that is why I always say sometimes people do things differently than I do, and it's not bad, it's simply different. And if it fits an author's needs, then heck yeah, take that advice and go for it, because I think there's a lot of brilliance out there and we should explore it all. Let's see, I'm going to check the chat because you guys have been busy when I was just on my soapbox. Okay, just got a couple of 5-star reviews from professional reviewers from Reader's Favorite and Book Life. Now, can I use there? So you can use those in your editorial review section. If you're doing A+ content, you can slip them in there. So you can absolutely use those. You can use them on your marketing pages, all sorts of ways. Let's see. All right, so, and this was another question we had. If you have a professional review, like I know Nancy for Breath is Life just got a 4-word review, which is amazing. Yay. And it was a really, really nice review. And she was asking, how do you use those reviews? How do you make them, you know, you've got it, now what do you do with it? slap it up on your sales pages. Don't forget that there's a spot for editorial reviews on Ingram Spark as well. And that's where your book buyers, your retail buyers, your bookstore, your library buyers, they're going to go look at Ingram. So make sure that you get on Ingram Spark, put it up on your editorial review section on Amazon. You can use it in your sales pages and your sales sheets. I usually like to sprinkle a quote, like highlight a quote or endorsement on different parts of the page, like as a breakup. I should see if I could find one there. And so you can do it that way. I would also say that you can use them as just on its own, or if you're reaching out to, excuse me, if you're reaching out to librarians and you have this big forward review, you can slip it in there to, I want to introduce myself. I've just released my book. You put the title, ISBN. It's been getting great reviews. Here's a quote from forward, and you put like a one-liner, and then you go on about it. So you can kind of work it into your pitching as well. So and sometimes, depending on where the review is from and what the review is, sometimes having that review in your cover letter or your pitch is what will get people to open the rest of your marketing materials. So I think that that is important to kind of consider as well. I wanted to show you what it might look like on, oh, I can't type, on a marketing kit. So I'm going to show you a marketing page or kit that I did for a client in Canva. Let me make it bigger, and then, ooh, not that big. And then I'll share. Just 1 second here. All right. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you guys can see it. It's not too small. All right. Vampire coughs are always appropriate, Kevin. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. I know it's a little, oh, I tried to make it bigger and I made it ridiculous. All right, so this is a marketing sheet that can be used anywhere. It's not really retail specific. It was more just for the book in general. And you'll see that we put a quote right up here and we highlighted it. It's kind of a page break, but we used it, and then we've got all the rest of the information. We've got one here. Again, this time it was right next to the book. And this one is actually meant for our retail buyers. You'll see that we've got some information about the author. We've got the cover so people can see the cover. We've got this quote right here that stands out beautifully, the actual description, and then we've got all of our ISBN numbers, our formats, and our pricing. We also say it's available at Ingram at a full trade discount. So we kind of worked everything in there. And again, you can see where we used a quote right here as a standout piece. And when you're using a quote or review, for the love, my friends, this is my big pet peeve, one of them, we know me. Do not use a paragraph. For the love, do not. Please pick out a sentence, a couple of words, let it be big and bold, and let it stand. And I understand that sometimes someone gives you this lovely endorsement or review that is very flowery and talks about, you know, how your words are like fairies flitting on the page and it's beautiful and blah, blah, blah. That is fantastic. And I'm glad it makes you feel good. But go for the short quote that speaks more to the book itself very quickly. A poignant thriller that should be stocked on the shelves of every store, Kirkus or something like that. Yes, I will absolutely. So we've got Sam's book. It's a very good book. It is his memoir of being the partner of someone going through cancer, which is, it is completely, oops, well, not that one. It is completely different, you know, having my family experience of being a caregiver during cancer. through that process is very different, even as I have, had recent scares and concerns as an adult. It is just very different. Is there a media kit template on new shelves? There is. I'm so glad you asked. So we do have a couple of templates. Here, let's just go to the new shelves. Go to the new shelves. So you guys, if you've never browsed around in our store on our website not only has like paid things, like there are paid things, you can get us to fully design your marketing kit or your sales sheet, like I did for Sam, but there's also a lot of really cheap resources and a lot of free things. The professional book review list is completely free. Social media guides are up there, a book graphic template, which allows you to do that. And it's $3.99, but there's a children's template for an author sheet and media kit, and there's like a color block option. So we do have two options. They're just $3.99. You get them, it's the Canva template, and then you can use it as many times as you want, and you can kind of just adjust coloring or that kind of thing. But it gives you a starting point, which for a lot of people is super helpful, because simply being able to start, it's like if I was to start a book and say, here's the book and here's the idea, now just write a story, you probably would have moved much more quickly than if you had to start from the beginning. We've got our trusted blogger list. We have a cover letter template to librarians that's free. 9 magic questions, which is a marketing piece, marketing timeline. We've got the A+ content. So we do, of course, there are things for sale, but there is also quite a bit of freebies in here. So feel free to browse around, take what you find helpful. And I will, in the meantime, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will drop in. Oh, I already did. Look at me, better than I thought. I already dropped in Sam's link on Amazon. All right, I had lots of questions pop up. Is this example from Samuel Simon online anywhere? I don't know if he's got it up on his website yet, but he should have it up soon if he doesn't, and that's on theactualdance.com. So you can check it out there. And I am happy. That example is actually a kit that I did, and I'm happy to share that with you as well. And I'm glad you all like it. What do I use for my online store? I think we have Equid, Tara. Equid, and it's connected through my WordPress site. Very easy to use. Highly recommend. Not that I have a ton of experience setting those things up, but Equid is easy, and easy is good in my book. All right, let's see. Yes, sometimes a hardcover is too expensive. If you got too many pages, the price for a hardcover can kind of go up. Excuse me. Well, I just coughed on my hand. So Kevin, I did it. Now I gotta go wash my hands. Yes, so hardcover can be too expensive. You have to price a hardcover much higher. And if you have a really thick bound hardcover, Kim, like I know you do, if you got a lot of pages, sometimes it just doesn't make sense to do that. All right, Joanna, the barcode of my book doesn't have the price embedded in it. Is this an issue when pitching to companies and libraries? Joanna, it's typically not an issue for libraries. The libraries are not in the business of scanning and selling and needing that price over and over again. However, if you are selling to a retail store, retail stores in many cases require a price barcode, especially if they are chains. If you're looking for an airport, I talked to the Hudson newsstand, a book buyer at my local Hudson newsstand store when I was traveling. I wrote an article on it. And when I asked her about a price barcode, she, like, her face just didn't compute. She's like, You mean some of them would not have a price barcode? Not in my store. So if you're looking for retail, if you're looking for airplane or airport stores, if you're looking for Barnes and Noble, it's required at Barnes and Noble as well. It's in their like submission form. It's required for Books a Million. So if you're looking for retail, you do need a price barcode. You can easily create that yourself. It does not take long. There is a video for that on YouTube as well. So again, if you go to youtube.com/newshelvesbooks and you type in barcode, that'll pop right up. All right. Can you recommend how to find a translator for a memoir? I would love if everyone would share their resources here. I have seen some people go to places like Fiverr or different places like that to look for a translator, which can be fine or good. But if you don't speak the language, you're putting a lot of trust in that person to ensure that it was done correctly. So you may need to have a translator and then have someone else who just speaks or reads both languages who can kind of do a check. Honestly, I would be asking if you know people who speak the different languages or dialects, I would be asking them if they have recommendations. And that is the best I've got. So Tara's saying that on her list to check out is babbelcube.com, and they specialize in book translations. So maybe that's worth it. Babbel, BABELCUBE cube.com. With contracts, it's crucially important to get a qualified translator, all of whom are expensive. Yes, that is very important. You want to make sure that you've got that. Readsy also has some translators and translations. Yep. That's one of the hard things is that you have to have someone not only that can do the job, but that you can trust to do it well. And again, with the contracts and everything. Caroline says, I found a great Spanish translator on Fiverr. Now I'm looking for native Spanish speakers to review the book, which is good. Yeah, definitely. You definitely want to have a couple of people who are native to the language you're translating and to read it and make sure that it was translated well, so that things make sense. All right. Let's see. Is your 5-hour consult comprehensive? Do you help authors at the end after the book is written? With the 5-hour consulting block, we cover whatever you want to. I have some authors who are writing and they've written their book, but they're publishing their book. And I have some authors who buy the 5 hours and they schedule once a month and we go through what they've been working on. They get homework for the next month and then they go off and they do it. So it really depends. I also have people who say, hey, I want to meet you 5 times in a month to launch my book, and that's it. So it really depends on what the author needs. It's driven by that, but it's very flexible to your needs. So if you are looking for a consulting block and you're not sure how that would work, just reach out to me, email me and let me know. And then that way we can talk about what it might look like for you, because as always, your goals dictate what we do. Your goals are different than someone else's goals. So we'd go from there. But it is usually done over Zoom so we can share screens, we can really dig in and see your account. So rather than general advice, it's let's log into your KDP account together. Let's look at your sales and let me explain to you exactly what these ad stats mean. Let's work together. So everything's being set up in your account and it's specific for you. Oh, yay. Jane is leaving for Crime Bake in a few hours. What is your best advice for a writer at a writer's conference? My best advice for you, Jane, is to come find me and say hi because I can't wait to see you. No, all business aside. And I think we talked about this a little bit last week. talk to people, make friends, make sure, which I know, Jane, you will have no problem, but make sure that even if you come with people you know, that you expand outside your circle, that you say hi to new people, include new people. I know right now can be kind of a weird time with everything going on, but most conferences have been very masked, very safe. And so don't be afraid to meet new people because they will share things with you. You will learn things that will help you so much more than if you stay in a bubble. So really don't be afraid to do that. Take it all in. You're going to be exhausted. Oh, yay, Eileen. I'm so excited. I think I'm meeting or seeing 5 or 6 clients that I've never seen in person today in this weekend. So I'm so excited. Sue Green is going to be here as well. Of course, we have Hank Philippi Ryan is going to be the guest of honor. Yay. Paula Munet is here. I am so excited. So much awesomeness. So take it all in, take some notes. I always say have something to take notes, but also don't get so stuck in taking notes that you don't experience the class in front of you. A lot of the speakers will be providing their PowerPoints or different things like that on their websites later. So don't get so caught up in taking notes that you don't fully engage and really get in there, because I see that a lot being at conferences and speaking and things like that. I see that a lot where there are people who are so busy trying to write down every word, but then they miss a lot, or they don't formulate their thoughts to ask questions at the end because they're so busy taking notes. So don't be afraid to kind of sit back, enjoy, ask ahead of time. Will you have a PDF that we get to see, or can we see your slides anywhere? How can I learn more about you? Don't be afraid to do that. Yes, you should also ask people about what they're writing. They will usually reciprocate, and this could lead to promo swaps and JVs. Absolutely. I actually, when I was at the Georgia Writers Romance of America, oh, that was a mouthful. I saw so many connections with, oh, I write like that too. Let's see. Oh, you need more reviews. I've got a great group. Maybe we can kind of swap. And I saw a lot of that going on. It was beautiful. Let me see. I've got 2 more questions up. Have there been issues with submitting a PDF of the published book to a award contest? I sent one out without a watermark recently to forward and hope it's safe. Mike, Ford is a huge, reputable company. You're fine. You don't need to worry about that. Like I said, Ford has too much of a reputation to risk for anything like that. So you should be fine. Again, for a word contest, typically you're safe. Watermarking your PDF is a little bit like wearing your seatbelt. Why do we wear our seatbelts? Because in the event of a crash, it makes us so much safer. But I drive in my car all the time, and knock on all the wood, I don't get in a car wreck every time I get in my car. So it's not that you will always need it. It's just something that you should do because it's a safer option. So don't worry about it with Ford, but you should certainly do it for future things. It's just a smart move. Yes, and romance writers are awesome that way. I had a great time. All right, Kim's got a question. I haven't used the Canva yet. How long does it take to master? I still can't mark it on Amazon. It's a glitch on my new computer. Oh, it's weird that it's your computer, Kim. I'm glad you figured it out though. So on Canva, I think Canva is pretty intuitive and easy. However, I use it all the time. I think that there is probably a little bit of a learning curve. There are so many YouTube tutorials and videos, but they have a lot of design templates, a lot of drag and drop. Be prepared to play with it at first. I think it's important that you don't try to go master Canva an hour before you need a promo flyer for a big event. Definitely don't do that. However, making sure that you you play with Canva months in advance for your release or kind of messing with it, I think is smart. It's a great tool. It can be free. There's a free option. That's awesome. And I think that it's fairly easy and intuitive, in my opinion. Now, Linda this week might be disagreeing with me, but she's mastering it as well. Let's see, Linda and I had a session this week, and Canva was not behaving well for her. All right. Okay, can you give an idea of what might be a good watermark and where on the page it would go? Typically, a watermark is going to be very, very transparent. It goes in the back. It kind of, a lot of times will go sideways or it'll go diagonal across the entire page. And it can say advanced reader copy. It can say proof copy. It can say, it can say your name or your website. You can use your logo. There's all sorts of things that you can do for a proof. Mike, I don't think you have a logo. So in that case, you could say, you could put your website, you could put your name, you could put proof copy, advanced reader copy, all sorts of things. You could do a short copyright statement, but that's quite a lot. Keep in mind, this is going behind your text. So you still want your text to be readable. And if you're sending in your full PDF, it's got your copyright on that, you should hopefully have a copyright page. So you should be covered there. All right, you guys, it's 10:56. I have to go. I have volunteered to go stuff bags, I believe. So I'm going to go do that. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. If you email me this weekend, please know I am going to be here at Crime Bake. I will not be answering very many emails. I will be around the beginning of next week to respond. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them, but no, I won't respond right away. And we will see you next week. Bye, guys.